How's everyone out there? Hope everyone's well on this Thursday afternoon. Welcome to the DUANEO Podcast, episode 24. And this was probably one of the more special out of the bunch because this is actually the first episode, the premiere, so to speak, of what I call the BBHC files. A little bit different to some of the content that I've released in the previous 23 episodes on the DUANEO Podcast. To all you new viewers and subscribers out there, I am Dwayne Neville. If you're scanning through my previous episodes and you're thinking a lot of the stuff is very football orientated, I'm actually a football commentator in today's modern world on weekends. So I call rugby league in the winter months. And you're thinking, what's this dude now doing a full 360 and talking about metal hardcore music? Because once upon a time, I was just like you crazy nuts out there, you crazy kids. I was pretty much went to anything and everything that Byron Bay Hardcore, and not just hardcore, metal music between Byron and up to Brisbane. And one of the things that I did if I wasn't in the mosh pit was film concerts and just saved them for a time like now when, especially during COVID, we're not seeing a lot of action on the live front. And if we do, it's not the music that we once knew it. Just in my opinion, I think the scene now is generated into a new generation of supporters and punters, and that's all well and good. But I guess it's because I'm just showing my age. It's I did like some decade, not 2 decades ago, where we were spoilt back in Byron Bay to have all the international bands come out and play at for me personally, a place where I did my exams. So like bands like Unearth, Walls of Jericho, Bleeding Through, just to name a few. Most Precious Blood played Byron a couple of times. I could Ringworm. I could do a whole podcast on all the international. Every Time I Die, all those bands that grace Byron Bay now. Not only is that scene now an ancient history, it's now considered mini Hollywood. I've now bailed from Byron Bay. I'm now up on the Gold Coast. So I just thought, well, whilst yes, at least in this demographic, it was something that once it was great, but now it's ancient history. But this is where I feel like to do my civic duty to bring a little bit of that ancient history out to you, the punters out there, and just share what is sitting in my closets here. It's doing nothing but gathering dust. It's a project I wanted to do for some time, but just time constraints with rugby league in the winter months as well, and midweek prepping for games and stuff. But I'm going to do my best to try and get an episode out once a week for you guys out there, as long as you subscribe to the page of the DUANEO Podcast, and we'll be able to, I'll keep churning out the episodes for you. So that's sort of the demographic. So what the plan is, I'll release a concert and talk about a bit of an intro, just what that concert was about and the demographics of like the tour, and which brings us to the first one. And what a way to kick off the first one. None other than Adelaide Stronghold. So doing a bit of research on Stronghold, I've seen them 4 times between 2005 and 6. And I had to remind myself that, you know, whilst they were up there with the likes Wish for Wings and Against, just doing the national shows constantly. I mean, and I just had, because I keep a record of every gig I went to. That's how much of a nerd I am. I learned that back in the year of 2006, they came to Byron 3 times between the months of January and April off the back of their 2005 EP release Step Back, 3 occasions. And that the show that I'm about to show you now is At least for me, not only was it the last time I got to see him perform, but I believe it was the last time they ever played in Byron, and I think they disbanded not long after that. So this is coming off the back of when they first came to Byron back in 2015, supporting fellow South Australian Shot Point Blank. It was also 50 Lions' first show to memory. That was back in July 2005. Then I believe Chuck Norris might have played that show too. I could have been wrong. But then you look at 2006 leading into this show, which was they were the main support for Parkway Drive on their national all ages assault tour, which was one of the last regional tours Parkway did before they started. Like it was off the bat when Parkway released the Killing with a Smile. They did as you know, they did the CD launch tour for that, and then they did a regional tour on the back of that, and then they went writing for the Horizons album. So Stronghold I believe they were doing the majority of the national supports for that, and then you had had your local supports as well. And on this occasion, which you go back to April 2006, April 20 to be specific. Just Say Go from Brisbane and 50 Lions were the local supports in this very show. And I believe I've got somewhere on one of my other pages when the Parkway set for that show after Stronghold played. So I will link that in the comments to this one here. But this is Stronghold from Byron Bay High School. And it's about a 15, 20-minute set, very heavily off that EP. They did release a demo prior to this, but they were one of those bands that they basically got in, owned the Australian hardcore scene, and then they just got out. There was a few bands like Chuck Norris, probably more so on the East Coast, between more so Brisbane as well around about that time, but they didn't have the longest run in the hardcore scene. But when they did leave a mark, they left a big mark. As I said, 3 shows in the space of 4 months in 2006, and what a time it was to be alive, to be a Byron Bay Hardcore kid, and not just that, an Australian hardcore kid. So anyway, enough from me. Hope you enjoy the set here. There's a lot of pit violence, very crowded. A lot of crowd participation as you come to expect from a Byron Bay Hardcore show. This was at Byron Bay High School. Big crowd attendance, of course. This was back when Parkway were hitting their straps nationally and about to make their big step on the international scene. So it's a short, sweet show, but it's one for the ages. So hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will bring out the next one hopefully next week. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday and your weekend, and let us know what you think of the gig and the podcast. Until then, this is DUANEO out. Enjoy Stronghold. Have a good day.